Welcome back to another episode of Season 5 of the RAG podcast. As you guys know by now, this is the number one podcast across the recruitment sector globally. And we've always been on a mission to help recruitment agencies grow by interviewing founders and telling their stories of success from startup all the way to scale up and exit. Well, this season we're a little bit different. How do you, as a recruitment leader and founder, maintain your family and friendships whilst being the best person at work? How do you stay physically fit mentally and emotionally? And how do you find time for yourself in the madness? How do you find time for self-interest, for hobbies, and self-improvement? Well, to help you with this, I'm going to be interviewing someone every single week that can demonstrate experience in one or more of these areas. So I'm going to talk to recruitment founders and also some experts from outside the industry who can deep dive into things like relationships and health and well-being. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy today's show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the RAG podcast. We are back. It is 2022. First episode of the year, and I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling excited. I can't wait to get back to recording every single week. But I've got to admit, I've enjoyed a bit of a rest. I've recruited. I've recorded a shed load of episodes in the last couple of years. So we all need a break. I'm back. I've got my new Hoxo hoodie on. Those of you who are watching me live or watching back on YouTube, you can see our new stash, which I'm excited about. We're repping branded clothes this year, which is cool. Guys, today's episode is going to be a cracker. I'm joined by a guy called Alex Zaboli. Some of you may not know this name if you're based in the UK or different parts of the world. Alex is the co-founder and managing director of a company called Cornerstone Recruitment in Japan. He did work in London for a long time, moved out to Japan, launched a business. In 2 years since launching, there are over 40 staff. There is so much I can't wait to get into and to learn from Alex. How the hell do you get to that kind of growth in 2 years? Right, let's get Alex into today's episode. Alex, welcome to the RAG podcast.
Thanks, mate. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, mate. Not a problem. So let's just set the scene for us, guys. You're in Japan. What time is it now? Give us an overview.
It's 7:37 in Japan. It's Wednesday evening.
You're in the office?
Yeah, I'm in the office. Yeah, there are two of my guys that are closing deals here.
Really? So am I likely to? Are you going to stop me halfway through and be like, yes, and ring some kind of bell or something?
You might have a couple of dudes running in the background. No, I'm in the office. You know, most of the people have finished work right now. So, it's all good.
Awesome. Alex, look, I'll give you a brief overview there. I don't like to go into too much detail. For the listeners' benefit, can you tell us a really clear overview of who you are and what you do?
Sure. As you probably can guess from my accent, you know, I'm Italian. So born and bred in a city called Modena, and you know, it's quite famous for people that love cars. You know, we make Ferrari and Maserati. I live actually like a couple of minutes from the Maserati factory. Wow. So born and bred there, lived there till I was 23. Then I was a bit bored, you know. Was a bit wild child, I would say, maybe. So didn't really go to school, didn't go to university. And you know, I just got a little bit bored and decided to go to London. I've always been in love with sort of kind of alternative music, you know, so like a big, you know, punk fan and post-punk and all that kind of stuff. So I always loved like London. I went there on holiday, fell in love with the city. Went there, didn't speak a word of English. So started from being a kitchen porter in London, and then went to school, you know, learn a little bit of English, work in restaurants. Then I got my first job in recruitment, I think after my first year, something like that. I worked for a company called Staff Bank Recruitment. They do like Staff Bank. It's a boutique, basically. They do recruitment for the education sector. I worked there for 1 year. Then I moved to Blue Arrow, which is one of the largest catering and hospitality high street agencies. Worked there for 3 years. Then I met my wife, a Japanese lady in London. We got married. Came to Japan. I went with Hayes at the time. I stayed 3 years there.
How did you find that move? Were you excited about it? Was it something you wanted to do?
Yeah, because I was again 3 years at Blue Arrow. I was really happy. I did really well. I got my first managerial job, I think, after my first year at Blue Arrow, so I was pretty quick. And kind of blue collar recruitment, catering recruitment. I felt that I was a bit bored, And then again, I met my wife. I'd never been to Japan before. And never had a particular interest in Japan apart from my missus. So I kind of didn't know anything. Of course, I had friends that moved to Hong Kong and Singapore, so I was a little bit familiar with Asia, and I knew that Asia was like a good market to be, for recruiters. But I never know anything about Japan. But I just, what I did is very simple. I connected with everybody, so I sent all LinkedIn invitation to all the MDs in Japan. And I got I'm not saying I got offered by everybody, but I got like 4 or 5 offers on the table within like a month and a half.
Did you need a visa, or was it because you were married? Was it easy for you?
I got the spouse visa because it was a bit easier for us to do. But is to get a visa in Japan is quite easy, honestly, even without a college degree, actually.
Right. Okay. So you got there, and then you stayed in recruitment at Hayes, did you say?
Yeah, I went to Hayes. Stayed there for 3 years. And then I did really well at Hayes. I think I won Best Manager of the Year for 2 years running. Always the top 10 billers in Japan and in Asia. Built the team from 4 to 20 when I left. I think something like that. But I don't know. For me, there was a certain point where the politics got a little bit too much for me, I think, and there was a change of MD as well, where I didn't really get along, honestly, with the new MD. And then I got approached by my current business partner, Matt. Matt was at a company called RGF, which probably a lot of people don't know, honestly, in UK. But RGF is the bilingual arm of Recruit. Recruit is a monster of a company. It's actually the 4th or 5th largest recruitment company worldwide. It's a Japanese company, huge, massive. He was in charge of. He was the managing director of this brand of Recruit, which is the international, bit of it. Met him. Both kind of. Even if I'm Italian, I classify myself as a UK recruiter. So we had that connection. Just really got along. So you hired me there, Jeff. And then I think that is what really put us on the map, I think, in Asia, because we built that business from 20 to around 200 people in 4 years. That was insane, absolutely.
In what market were you recruiting at that point?
So we did everything. So, kind of like the bilingual art, like sort of, in Japan, we do, and all the like foreign firms in Japan. So Hayes, Robert Waters, Michael Page, S3, all these guys. We deal with a very tiny part of the Japanese market, which is the bilingual recruitment market in Japan, which is like all the multinationals that have an entity in Japan across any industry, really. We deal with the senior and upper management, so of those firms, basically. So it's mainly Japanese people that speak English that work for foreign firms in Japan. So it's a very tiny part, and it's sort of the upper market of the sort of Japanese economy or labor, part, but it's highly lucrative because it's really candidate short.
Wow. So it's all about those language skills in different areas. So what made you're doing an amazing job. You get to 200 people. Why on earth are you starting a business? Why didn't you just carry on scaling that?
Yeah, I mean, we are super ambitious guys, so we did that. And our goal within the the food chain of the Japan recruitment, system, we were number 3, So in Japan, Robert Waters is number 1. They've always been number 1 in Japan. They're a very nice organization here. Number 2 is kind of a local player. And the number 3 was up for grabs, and we got that spot, right, in 4 years. And our goal has always been to be number 1, so to go from, again, 200 to 350 or something like that, So of course, to do that, you need to have sort of like you have to share the same ideas really as the board, really. So we felt that after a period of time, sort of our objectives were not aligned anymore. And also we felt that, we kind of always, Matt and I have always kind of been talking about, like, hey, how about setting up your own business? In Japan, there's a nice little ecosystem of small boutiques, that grew to, 50, 80, 100 people. So you can have that growth, So, we thought about it. This was pre-COVID, so there was actually a lot of investment in Asia. So lots of international, in particular, British firms opening offices in America and Asia. So we felt, well, the time is right. We got a great story to tell. Let's just see, like if there could be.
So did you leave your job and then go out and search for, because I know you've got investment in this business from day one.
Yep.
Did you go out, did you take that time out to do that, or did you have to do it at the same time?
No, we did it at the same time. So we started, I think it took us from the moment we sit down and said, okay, let's do it. Let's write the business plan and, let's start to connect with investors. It took us kind of 6 months, I think, from start to finish. And no, we did it while working because, we sort of wanted to, to see like what you can get, because we did, we wanted to do something very specific. The majority of boutiques, at least in Japan, they are privately owned. And they were founded like maybe 20 years ago when really the market opened. And we didn't want to do anything like that. We wanted to do something big, and to do that, we did a little bit of the math. So we realized how much capital we needed. So, we didn't know if that was possible, honestly. So
it was never like the intention to sit there between two of you and just have a nice lifestyle. It was keep it lean and profitable. It was always about scale.
Yeah. I think for me, I've got absolutely no interest in having a small business. It's not what I want. I want to, because I think over the time, right? I think we became like quite expert on the Japanese market, and Japan market is really, it's not difficult. It's not easy to crack, to be honest. And because of that, we felt, well, I fancy another go at it, but this time as my business. So no, we got no interest, and I think we're specialists in scaling fast. I think has become one of our.
You mentioned you managed to get investment from. Was it 2 different arms you got investment from?
Yeah, so we got from Cornerstone Global Partners, which is one of the largest firm in Asia, actually. They have, I don't remember how many people they have now, but it's 500, 600 people, between mainland China and Southeast Asia, and Morgan Stanley.
I just want to mention our sponsors as always. Okay, so for some of you, we are ranging up the sponsors this year, which is interesting. But we're still working with District 4, who are a business that provides support for experienced recruiters who want to launch their own company. Like 2022 January, when is a better opportunity to think about your own business? Okay, what they do is they offer a startup package which includes taking care of all the back office, and they implement a suite of technology products, meaning you can get focused on what you do best, which is billing. All right. I mean, I've started a company. I'm sure Alex and the people I always speak to, it is doable on your own, but it's a hell of a lot of work. It's a headache. And I feel like if you've got an expert team behind you, you can hit the ground running and recruit even faster. Also, all of the different partners in the business work together and learn from each other. So you're not just getting that back office support, you're also getting the time and the support from the network. So you've got colleagues, you've got people to lean on. It's not as lonely, and I really believe that it gives you the best chance of success in such a competitive market. So reach out to District 4, that's district4.io. Check on the contact us link on the page. Register some interest, have a chat. I'm sure you won't regret it. So you've got a banking background, and Cornerstone are already in recruitment in those regions, are they?
Yeah, Cornerstone is a recruitment company.
Yeah,
So the
already
name
in.
is.
Did they have a Japanese arm at the time?
No, they wanted to invest in Japan for many
Right.
years because it's super profitable, right? And everybody fancy honestly having a business in Japan. It's just like it's an expensive market, So I think the first priority was to come here and buy a business, but they never got, I think, the right deal. I think, and we had quite a lot of friends in common, with them, because the number two is an ex-Hayes guy, so I knew him,
Right.
and so on. So when they knew that we're kind of on the market, then we made it happen, basically.
Wow. So you've gone from 0 or 2 people to 40 people in 2 years, right? And that's incredible growth, right? Obviously, the investment, I imagine, has played a huge part in that. But
Yep.
can you take us back to the beginning? Like, paint the picture. What did it look like at the beginning with having that partnership? Because I always interview people that sit in their bedroom on their own, kind of thing. Like, this is slightly different. What does the beginning of the business look like when you sat there, 2 people with money in your pocket? Like, how did you get it off the ground? What did you do?
So, I mean, I think you go through like kind of emotions, because you close this deal, right, which was like, wow, amazing, I mean, like, and
Yeah. Now I've got to do some work.
and we traveled literally the world because we came to London for a week to meet with investors. So it's really like an amazing experience, I think, to actually to close the deal. And yeah, then you got this cash, but I think the reality hits you pretty quickly, because we were used to just having a really nice infrastructure behind you, and we kind of always work for big companies. I never really worked for a boutique, so apart from the beginning of my career in London. So you start and you don't have even like really basic thing, just to open a bank account. It took us forever. So on the operational side, it was not. I think it was not too difficult because we hired people straight away. So we went from 0 to 10 in like 3-4 months.
So what roles did you go for straight away?
Just people we knew, so we took, of course, some guys with us, from our previous company. So we took a bunch of them, and also, there were some, long-term targets that I had for years when I was at RGF, and I couldn't hire them for, because that situation didn't fit them. So we managed to convince, I think, 2 of the biggest players, I think, at managerial level in Japan, one in financial services and one in life science, as a manager. So these are 2 guys that Matt and I wanted to hire for literally 5 years, something like that. And we didn't have the setup or the conditions right for them to join RGF. And here, they knew us, we got them to meet with our investors, so, they realized actually, that the whole story, the whole pitch was legit. And that's how we started. So we started with like 2 senior con, which I think were really high potential from RGF, and we took them here. A couple of again, these 2 guys, right, Mark and Derek, and a couple of ACs, couple of new grads.
Right. And what about operationally? Did you hire an ops manager or a marketing or any?
I'm the up guy. I do everything. So no, we're very lean on back office, so we were super lean. So, and I think for us, the beauty of going with Cornerstone Global Partners is, we have all the back office function kind of outsourced to them, so we have an accounting and finance team that does all my invoices, does all my P&L in Shanghai. So all the analysis, all the kind of stuff is kind of taken care
That's
of.
interesting. I've literally just mentioned that about District 4, right? That our sponsor, that they offer the similar platform to people. And what sort of value does that add, do you think, in the early days when you don't have to be running around doing your own crap when it comes to finance and setup?
Massive, because I mean, both Matt and I are really commercial guys, so we love selling, selling, training, hiring, all the kind of stuff, but really the commercial side and the front office side of the business. So, you have somebody that does the P&L, create you, list of invoices to chase and tells you when this invoice is expiring, all this kind of stuff, even payroll, So that is really that legal as well. When you set up the legal entity, they have people that can hook you up and do all the kind of stuff for you, setting up the bank, all the kind of stuff. You do have a nice infrastructure behind, So
when you're handpicking, if you're leaving one company and then you're handpicking a couple of people from other brands, including the one you were at, surely there was quite a big non-compete on most of your heads. Like you couldn't. You must have been hamstrung a little bit in the early day around what you could or couldn't do.
Yeah, you take risk, I guess. Yeah, you take risk. Of course, you don't advertise it, straight away. And you do things a little bit discreetly, and that's how we did it, basically. I don't think there was also. We were not like really competitors, at the beginning, I think, because, you get two, honestly, senior con leaving, a 200 people company joining us. It's not a thing. It's not a big deal, and we didn't go after like 50, 60 people and take half of the business. We just had a couple of people that we really wanted. And, again, it was not a big deal. And I think they joined us, very close with the deadline of the non-compete or something like that. But we didn't really go after them or behave in any, in any negative way, I think, to that.
So how quickly did you start making money? Like what was the trajectory like in the first 6 months of billings?
It was pretty good. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to go with, with the JV, type of structure, because I think if you want to go into a growth mode, I mean, it's nice, they give you the cash, but like any other investors, they want to see profitability, they want to see the growth and the profitability at the same time. So I think we did a good job at making sure that. And I think in general, like our investors were really happy to have a business in Japan. So we got a lot of leads from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from mainland China. So they got us started straight away. I think we signed actually on the second month, I think, or something like that, like 2 really big retainers, So we in the first year, I don't remember, to be honest, if we were profitable or not. I think we were around the break-even. Of course, you have an initial investment, right, that you put there, and it helps you to pay salaries and get the office and all the kind of stuff. But after the initial setup cost, I think the first year I think if we didn't break even, we were very close, I think, about doing that. And last year we made a really nice profit, even growing from like 12, 15 to like 40, basically. Now we are like 45, 46, I think.
So the end of the first year, you got to between what, 15-ish?
The end of the first year, we started the business in October, I think, or November, so first 3 months. So we started January, I think, with 10, I think, something like that. When we 10, and then we did the first 10, we did 10, 18 or something like that. Not 10, because that was, we did 10 to, no, the second year was last year, actually. So we did 10 to 30 something. And this year we're starting on, now I have 42, 43 account, I think. So we kind of hiring, basically our strategy has always been, we hired like kind of 5 to 10 people per quarter, kind of it from the beginning.
Yeah. And what's your strategy around that? Is it all graduates or?
No, we mix it up. So I think again, in Japan, I think Matt and I are a little bit like, I think we're the first guys that really introduced the concept of hiring from competitors in Japan. I think before us, you had the, sporadic move from, Hayes, Robert Waters, or like that, but it was like really not a thing, I think. We really pushed that thing, and I think we're quite famous in Japan for headhunting people from competitors. And that was our thing, with RGF. I think.
What's the USP like? What are you? Why would someone leave Robert Walters if they're billing, significant amounts? Why would they bother? Why would they leave?
Well, I think at the beginning with our Jeff was really difficult to convince people because it's just me saying, "Hey, we're gonna grow to 200 people." That there are another 100 dudes that are saying the same thing for the last 20 years. So that was a bit difficult. I think you need to have a vision. You have to explain the vision properly, and with with a nice plan and stuff. But ultimately we did it. And that every hire gets easier and easier and easier. And also we had the spots available. So we hired a lots of senior con and manager that they had that career path in front of them. And of course, at the time, we also had a nice brand behind us. So in Japan, if you talk about Recruit, it's like talking about like Toshiba or Sony. It's a household name. So that helps help you a bit. Here with Cornerstone, I think this time people knew us. They knew that we did it before. And again, this time also we're doing it in. I think we're doing it in style. With money, with investments. So. I think this time with a bit more personality. I think our personality is a bit more present, I think, in the business this time. So I think people know us, so they know that we kind of...
If they're already working for, say, a 200, 300 person business, if they're already at the bigger one, why move to one that's not there, that's aiming to get there? Like, because it's, they're going backwards to go up again. What's the strategy, or what's your...
But we don't go after the top boys, right? I'm not going for like a director that is managing 60 people already. I'm going for like a senior con or a manager that wants to become a manager, senior manager, and a director. So we have people like we're going for people that have not peaked already in their career, for experienced recruiters. Also, I mean, it's old fashioned, but we put money on the table. So, so if we like somebody, if we go after them, we come in with very interesting offers, and we design a commission scheme that in Japan, I think if it's not the best, is one of the best. So, financially, it makes sense. I think, of course, you gotta do the grind, so you got to build your client base, database. We don't have the same resources as, again, more established businesses here, but I think that's also part of the of the fun and the enjoyment of actually growing a company is to do that. So we go for that type of person. We go for the experienced guy, but also we're having like huge success with new grads. Last year, within my top 10, let's say, of 40 something people, there were like easy like 5 new grads that I hired in December, in January.
Wow. Are they Japanese locals, or are they expats, or?
No, we have a minority of Japanese people now in the office. So out of 43, 44, whatever people I have now, I think I have only 4 Japanese people.
Right.
2 in back office. So all the rest are, again, like super diverse, like Brits, American, Italians, French, a lot of Southeast Asia, so Vietnam.
So how do you pick them up at that point? Are they already in Japan and looking for work, or are you approaching them in other countries saying, come to Japan? Like, what's the...
No, we get people. We develop over the years like some very nice relationship with some of the best universities in Japan. Right. They're more like international minded and like universities. So we go after those new grads basically. And again, we have a reputation. Again, me and Matt have been here for 10 years almost. Matt actually even more than me. So we have already like 5th, 6th generation of new grads, that they go back and they say, in Japan is really strong, the like alumni type of community. So they go back to the uni, they do a speech and say, hey, if you're thinking about recruitment, I'm working here, I used to work with these guys, you should work there. That's how we got a lot of our through referrals basically.
And how would you say recruitment is received as a career path in Japan? Is it seen
sexy? It's sexy.
Really?
Really sexy. Yeah, it's more like I think for me the best way to explain it is more like an agent. We're like really like a football agent. I think you have much more similarity to that. So you don't have, again, the stigma of being seen as like a used car salesman. It's not like it's really sexy. No. But actually the job is here, honestly, is way more sexy than in UK, because the fees are higher, and it's almost like executive search, to a certain extent. It's contingency mainly what we do, but I think it's as the like the finesse and all the kind of stuff is more, and really the salaries is more similar to executive search.
And you said that the fees are like 40%, like between 30 and 40% standard.
Yeah, is insane. Again, it's
Crazy.
crazy, but it's easy to fill job. I mean, it's difficult to fill jobs, So lots
Yeah.
of people say, "Oh, why is so expensive?" But I hired we hired one experienced recruiter from Canada like 3 months ago. Like 5 years recruitment experience in Canada, and he came here and we told him about, hey, it's candidate driven, it's candidate short. And he's like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then he comes here, he does a search, it's nobody.
Yeah.
Goes on LinkedIn, Salesforce, like what, 30 people, 40 people. So it's like, I'm telling you, there are no candidates, so it's not easy to fill these jobs, that's why the fees are so high.
So what is the strategy then? Is it all headhunting or is it network? If there's no one online, how do you find them?
Yeah, I mean, there are different platforms that you can use, there are different job boards basically that you can use, So we use those. I think referrals, is really big. I think is really, really, really
Really big.
important. And that's pretty much it. Referrals, like really like flipping, flipping candidates and
Mm.
clients. I think is really important skills
And you
to
mentioned
have.
that
Yeah.
like a candidate will use a couple of agents their whole career. Like they'll just say, right, you're going to take me on that journey, right?
Yeah, no, not everybody. Of course, there are. It's
Mm.
becoming more popular, and maybe I think candidates. I think the really good candidates, they really use just a couple of agents, and then the lower you go in within the quality of the candidates, of course, the more broader options they
Yeah.
have. But really the good one, they have that relationship with a few agents, and they talk to them, and they use them to develop their career basically.
Love it. You are making it sound exciting. I'll be honest. I'm sat here
It's cool, man.
thinking,
It's
do I
cool.
really need to carry on at Hoxo, or should I bugger off to Japan and start working
It's
for you?
cool, man. It's sexy. It's really sexy. I mean, it's how you see it, right? Some people
Mm.
here. I mean, in Japan, it might find it a bit boring. For me, it's such a sexy market because, if you love like entertaining and that kind of stuff with clients, you really can enjoy the city. Especially for us in particular. I always believe in client entertainment is a must-have if you want to be a top biller, I think.
Mm.
And here you got the Ritz, you got all the nice hotel, and Tokyo is a vibrant city, for wining and dining. You got
I
lots of
imagine,
nice
yeah.
cool bars. So if you embrace that element, and which is kind of what we're trying to like do over here, that really that
But
champagne
you've
and razor
managed.
blade.
What's interesting though is you've done this in the middle of a pandemic. So tell us, how has COVID affected the operational structure with what the vision you had to start the company and then pandemic? How, because surely you can't have done too much wine. There must have been an element of restriction around how much of those things you could have done.
So yeah, I mean, Japan was a soft pandemic, right? There was no like major lockdown, like in Europe, so you could
Right.
go to work. Of course, a lot of people started to work from home, and now it's becoming way more like pretty much we are the only, I think, one of the very few recruitment companies that actually works in the office. So we didn't
Right.
do any remote work. So we decided hey, listen, this is an opportunity for us. I think we saw the market as an opportunity. And the pandemic started when we pretty much opened the business. So we opened the business in, again, September, and January, February kicked off the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Um but so at the beginning you get scared, honestly, because your pipeline collapses. But then we thought about it, we saw kind of what was happening, and I think in general, like Matt and I are a bit of risk takers. So if we see an opportunity, we again, we go for it. And we saw lots of our competitors working from home, and that had a massive impact on how certain accounts were worked. Of course, certain industry tanked, like hospitality, like retail, big hit. But IT and life science were strong through the pandemic, even at the beginning. So we saw huge opportunities in those markets, and we had everybody in the office literally grinding because all the candidates, at the time we didn't basically have a database. We had a very tiny database, so we were like screening like 30 candidates a day. So like So we built a database over that period of time, and also
more people wanted to speak to you, right? More people were open to a conversation at that point.
yeah. We registered some amazing candidates from, at the time, Walt Disney fired a lot of people. So there are like some really, really quality candidates entering and willing to talk to a recruiter. So that was great. So we built a database. I think, again, because our guys were working in the office, honestly, they worked harder. And because a lot of guys, here, especially if they had like a draw system or something like that, they just said, you know what, I'm chilling this year. I'm not going to make any money anyway. So I'm just going to spend time with my family or whatever, right? So we were here grinding. And because of that, I think there were lots of nice accounts that were not serviced properly. So those accounts, if the times were normal, they would not have considered us, honestly, as a vendor, I think. But we got in and we perform on those accounts. So we open accounts that, again, would not have been available otherwise. And as I said, we went aggressively out and headhunt from competitors. We knew who we want to get, some of the key guys. And we went there, and lots of people were not, I think, treated fairly during the pandemic, honestly, by their companies, like not paying bonuses and that kind of stuff. And we went there with cash and with an opportunity, and we closed some really important internal hire for us. So
now you've got no interest in remote working. It's all about the office. That's the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, our guys are, now we have a culture that is like that. And our guys think that the people working from home, they don't want to make that much money. So I had a conversation literally like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, with an internal candidate, and from a big firm, and I know her desk really well, because I know the history of that division, and I know the history of that desk. So, and she, 1.5 year, big firm. I knew a guy that used to work there, that used to make around 80 million Japanese yen a year as a revenue. Okay, so I met this girl.
What does that translate to in pounds?
In pound, I don't know. In USD is 80,000 USD. No, 800,000 USD.
800. So what? 600,000 pounds, something like that.
Something like that.
700. That's good. It's good desk, right?
It's good, but I knew the guy. I knew the girl before her, and I knew the guy before the girl before before the second one. So she's like the third person holding that desk, right? And I knew the guy that originally started the desk, and the guy was making 80 million a year. She's now making 15. So I'm saying, like, hey, like, there, you're making like a fraction of what that desk could generate, and of course it's not necessarily up to you. I think she was good, but I say, like, a big part, I think, is because you're working from home. Nobody's really listening to your calls, give you good advice and stuff like that. So I said, if you really want to make money, I think working in the office, especially at the beginning of your career, if you have a good manager, it will increase the chances of you making money. Just my ACs, my new grads make 30 million, make double what she makes, with nowhere near the resources that she has available. So I told her, now you have a bit of a dilemma in front of you. Like, do you compromise a little bit your lifestyle to make more money, or do you choose to make the same as you're making now, but of course, a better lifestyle, more chill lifestyle? Then is now
what
she
does
has
she
to think
say?
about it. She's thinking about it. I think she's gonna stay where she is. I think I don't think she's gonna move.
Yeah.
But
if you're listening, I wonder what you're thinking. It is interesting. You know what? I'm gonna say that my business is pretty much remote. We work together once a week or whatever when we meet, and I definitely understand what you've said. I don't believe in my business. It's something I need to implement or go back to. But what I love is when people have a vision and they stick to it, right? So if you believe in fully remote or no remote, I don't really care as long as you believe in it. The businesses, I think, that sit on the fence a bit and they're not sure who they are, they lose their identity.
Yeah. I think
you guys are sticking to it, and I respect you for that. I think it's great.
Remote is great. I think he's absolutely great. Especially if you're like a bit of if you're an experienced recruiter, if you want to have a bit more of that lifestyle business, if you're a small firm, I think it's great. I don't think you have to go to the office, honestly. For us, like, now I'm hiring kind of 80% new grads and 20% or inexperienced people, and 20% experienced guys, and I'm really happy because I have a great management team that can train, so for me, it's simply a business decision. I would not make the same amount of money
Yeah.
if they work
Yeah.
remotely. And we, again, the beauty of having an investment like ours is that you get the investment, you have to perform on that investment, so you do have to grow fast and you have to be profitable, like
So
at the same time.
that leads to a question I've got then. So what are the I can understand the pros of an investor at the beginning.
Yeah.
You get that cash, you get that support. It's a different game. It's a completely different game than sitting there and trying to generate it all yourself. But what are the challenges that, honestly, like I'm not asking you to negatively speak about your investors because I'm sure you've got a great relationship. But if someone's thinking about it, what do they really need to know and consider if it's right for them? Like you mentioned, there's an element. I imagine there's a bit of pressure, but can you give us a bit more detail around that? What does it feel like, and what's your experience been like?
Yeah, for us it's been great, honestly. Like we really got along with them, and we perform from day one. So I think they're really happy with what we're doing. I'm so that's my experience. I think they've been really, and that's kind of what's part of our deal. From the operational perspective, they we do what we want. They really don't have a say on how we run the business.
Would they ever
um
say if you stop performing?
Yeah, probably, of course. If you start to make a loss for like a year and they're losing money, of course they
Yeah.
might get a little bit more involved. So for sure. But like I think in any business, whatever you have an investor or you don't have an investor, if you don't make money, your HQ is gonna jump in and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's up?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Of course.
so I don't think there's much difference in that sense. I think for me, my advice, because for me, it's something that it's not that Matt and I, have MBAs and we did this master plan to, get this stuff done. We just literally sort of learn the process as you get along, honestly, and by meeting a lot of different people. I think for me, my main observation is just be careful. There are lots of, especially in UK, what we came across was a lot of off the shelf investment type of thing, where yes, you get the money, but you have to use a certain CRM, you have to use this, you have to do that, you have to use this commission scheme. So they're really off the shelf product, so you get a little bit of money, but I think, if you are somebody that really wanna, express themselves in the business, I don't think is a great
You
thing.
lose an element of control. What you're saying, you'd lose any, and what's part of owning a company is having that decision making capability, right?
So we came across a lot of those products, I think, when we were in London, and I think now the money is nowhere near good compared to when we got our investment. So our investment was way pre-COVID, where all banks had money, everybody, all boutiques had money. They wanted to go overseas. Now nobody has money,
Hmm.
so, or if they do have money, they're way more careful on how they spend it, I think. So I think that probably the recruitment product you're getting right now, they're not as good as the one you were getting, I think, 2-3 years ago, in my opinion, which is even worse. So I think that was a big thing. I think, yeah, that's, I don't know, that was one thing that really kind of I don't know, caught our attention, I think, when we're doing that. I think chemistry is really important, like I know it sounds a bit cliche, but if you do start a business with somebody, you gotta get along in general. I think just taking money from the first person that walks through the door, I don't think is a great thing, even if the money is good, and everything. But I think you just need to have that feeling of like, hey, I'm actually, I might enjoy working with these guys, So I think that's it pretty much, I think those are the things you probably need to consider the most, I think, if you invest,
Yeah, makes sense. Those of you know the all-in-one operating system for the market, Vincere. I mean, I'm so excited to announce for them to you guys. If you don't already know, they have been acquired and joined forces, but with the Access Group. So the Access Group, have got a huge heritage and history. They're a heavyweight partner in the recruitment sector, and they believe in that vision of a single operating system for that front, middle, and back office across the recruitment sector. So nothing's going to change from Vincere. The same people you're dealing with, the same vision, the same mission, but way more firepower. Like they're going to be a bigger brand. They're going to grow much faster. There's more investment now to grow. So watch this space. You can read the press release in the comments section of LinkedIn, or on the recording, you'll see the link. Check it out on the Spotify or Apple podcast store. Read about it. Well done, Vincere. I mean, I've been watching your journey from the start, and I'm delighted to see what's happened. I can't wait to see what 2022 has in store. I can get an energy from you, right? Even in this interview, like you're almost moving as you're speaking, right? I feel like I feel like you would you got some serious energy, like, and I think that it comes across in everything you're saying, right? And I think most founders of good businesses have that. They have like this, like an aura around them. What I'm interested in is, what's your day like? Like a big part of this show is telling the story of growth, right? People are like, wow, excited, 40 people, how have you done it? But really, they're also interested in learning from you as a person. Like, how do you set yourself up now? Like, what is your day job when you've got 40 staff? What are you doing from morning till afternoon? Like, can you give us an overview of an average day?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, for us, we're quite lucky because we have basically two MD in the business, myself and Matt, and we kind of really share responsibility. So each one of us manages teams. So we have I'm still manage a couple of recruiters directly, but then I have one director that manages other guys, and Matt is the same. So he manages different teams, So we do manage that. We're still selling a lot, So we sell retainers mainly, and we sign terms of business with new clients, so a bit more client facing. We don't do Matt stopped Bill maybe like 6 months ago. I carried on a little bit longer. So we do that, And of course, the last few years you do just the day-to-day job of a recruiter and a manager and a director, basically. We interview tons of people. We spend seriously, like, we interview between me and him like easily 20 people a week for first interview.
To work for you.
To work for us, yeah.
So what? How do you fit that in a day though? If you've got that's like between you, it's 2 a day. You've got
pretty much
a manager team. You're still selling to customers. How do you manage? How do you fit it all in?
I don't know. I mean, if you don't bill, honestly, it's quite easy to do, to be honest with you, because the day-to-day management of the team, we don't manage ACs anymore, right? So if I manage to not experienced recruiter, but they're already in the second year, I think, right now. So I mean, I'm sitting next to them, so if they have a question, they ask me, I answer. That's it. I have a one-on-one with them once a week. That's it. Then I have a director that runs, another part of the business. So I have a one-on-one with him. And again, we're in the office, so it's much easier because I can listen to the calls. So if I can spot something, I just say it, not to the person, but to the person in charge of that person, basically, So that is very dynamic and very fluid, I think. I think internal hiring is a big part, especially again, the easy part is the new grads and stuff. We get a lot of direct application, and I have an office lady that is kind of doing a bit of TA. We do spend a lot of time evenings out, I think, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Usually Matt and I meet competitors, so just because again, you meet a guy today, you're gonna close him in like 3 years, 4 years down the line.
So you just go meet him for a beer or something and go out and
dinner, drinks, and then you regularly keep in touch. Eventually, at some point,
what time do you get home at night after an average day?
I don't know, not too late, like maybe 9, 10 o'clock, something like that.
And how does your wife cope? Is there any issues there?
No, we're cool. I mean, I think usually, again, we can alternate Matt and I, right? So it's not that every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I'm out. Usually Monday, Tuesday I'm home like at 7 o'clock. Something like that. So I have dinner with my family. I've got 2 kids.
Wow.
So
how old are your kids?
Bed, watch a movie with my missus, and then maybe like, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, again, I either have a drink with Matt or somebody else. And Friday, usually we have drinks in the office, so we stay around like maybe 6, and then I go home. I live very close to the office, and I cycle to the office, so I'm here within half an hour. Cycle back.
You live in central Tokyo then?
Kind of, yeah. It's our office is literally in Tokyo Station, which is, I mean, Tokyo is like, just to give you a comparison, it's probably like 5 times London, maybe something like that.
Wow.
So it's huge, right?
Yeah.
So I can cycle to the office within half an hour. So it's the now work-life balance is honestly is okay. It's not that bad, and I like going out a couple of. I don't, but to compensate that, for instance, I don't have any friends, outside of work, so I don't have any. My mates are again mad. Some of the guys in the office, and it's either
your
work or
weekend
family.
time. Your weekend time is family and committed to
Yeah,
them, and then
yeah.
in the week you commit it. So how old are your children?
My son is 6 and my daughter is 3.
Right. So how much do they know about your business? Are they interested in it? Did you talk about it?
Yeah. They came to the office, a couple of times, and me and my son, he knows, Matt, he knows, like, my mates in the office. We always talk about it and say, hey, we went there last night, I hired this guy, like, so
It's
I
exciting.
talk
I mean,
about work.
growing up, did you have any role models, any entrepreneurs that you knew that gave you that? Because I didn't.
No,
I had no one, right?
me
Did you
neither.
have any? No.
No, I'm more inspired honestly, by music than business, so, I told you I like punk music, so I prefer to have inspiration from the kind of musicians, and people that go against the rules. That's
Really?
what I like. Yeah, I don't like particularly like business, like start. I don't read any books, to be honest.
No.
I'm not like. I never thought about becoming an entrepreneur. I always
No.
enjoyed my career so far. I'm very opportunistic, I think,
Yeah.
as a person, So I always progress, always happy where I was, but I get bored very easily. So after I get bored, I have to do something else. And yeah, I don't really. I never had a dream of becoming an entrepreneur or something like that. I wanted
No, I
more.
don't. I don't think I did either. I was growing up,
Yeah.
I had no idea. A bit like you, I just stumbled on recruitment. I was a teacher first. I then went into recruitment. I didn't know what I was doing. And then even I didn't know I was going to own a marketing agency until about 3 months before I launched it. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I
like
didn't know
that.
I was going to have an e-learning business, a coaching academy till a month before I launched it. I think I'm quite similar in that way. But I do think
I
now,
wanted to be a rock star. If I could choose, I'd be a rock star every day.
mate, you need to grow the hair out. You need longer hair. It needs to flick out the back. I need to see the head movement. But do you know what though? I'm interested to know now. Like, I mean, long-term play, but like, what impact will you have on your son? Because that's a challenge, right? It's can you instill those values of hard work and entrepreneurship when you could financially afford probably to give him a
Mm.
life that maybe you didn't have? I know my vision is to give my kids a life I didn't have, but with
No,
it's a tricky one, I think.
for me, I don't really care. It's their life. So I go my way. If they want to work, they work. If they want to be whatever they do, I never had pressure from my family of do this, do that. You gotta be that. They always let me be. And
Yeah.
they never put pressure. So I kind of want to do the same. I don't want to put pressure. I'll rather more that them taking the lead and say, "Hey, I want to do that." And yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
but
do it.
you'll naturally inspire them in a way that because you'll be doing so many cool things that it's slightly. I don't know what your parents did. Mine were pretty humble jobs. My stepdad drove a truck and my mum worked as a driving instructor. So there was
Us,
no like amazing, exciting stories going on. So, but I think if I'm building a business globally or you're building a business in Japan, our kids are going to see different things. They're going to experience they're going to have a different experience growing up.
yeah, for sure. But it's really up to them.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't wanna. I think nowadays you see a lot of parents. They put them in like from really like they put them like they have to get them to start like 5 languages from when the. I'm not like that. I think it's just let them go, let them be kids, and then they'll figure out their own way when they have to be. I think.
Guys, I've got a couple of comments on a lady called Karen Dale has written on live on LinkedIn. I work for a global company and I've been working remotely at home since February 21. I've been more productive, getting more done in less hours as no office distraction. We do have options to go into the office if we want to. Employees working at home is based on trust to get the job done. I don't think either of us disagree with that. I think
Yeah,
what
totally.
I get what you're saying is you spot an opportunity and
Yeah.
you want to create a culture your way, whether or not other companies do or not, you don't really care. You're building your business the way you're building it. And
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I don't want to be critical of people that are working
No.
from home. It's like whatever suits you. That's great. Like if you're happy, that's fine. Like it's just not our thing. I mean, it's just not. We don't see. I mean, I wouldn't like to have a business that works from home. I like the distraction of the office. So I'm cool with that.
I'm really torn, I do miss it. I do miss it for sure. But then there are times where I get so much more done when I'm not asked about 50 questions a day. So it's a balance. But then answering those 50 questions a day is having value to the business. So you've got it's a tricky one.
Yeah, I think kind of horses for courses, right? Whatever suits and whichever way people want to go, that's great. It's just for us, if you don't want to work in the office, it's just probably not a good fit with my
Yeah.
business. It's as simple as that. And we don't expect to, be the destination of choice for every single person in the world. People that like our style, like our ideas, our visions, and believe in what we're trying to do, that's great. If not, there are like 1,000 other recruitment companies in Japan and overseas. Go there.
Yeah, exactly. So that leads me to the future then. So what does the future look like? If you tell us about 2022, you sat with 42, 43 people. What's the vision this year? What you're looking to achieve?
We want to double, so we want to go, if we can, to 80. So we just moved into a new office. This one. This can fit 90 people, I think. So
Wow.
we try to fill it as quickly and as profitably as we can. So I think if we finish, honestly, like anything in between like 60 and 80, I'm good, as long as the 60 or 80 people that are in the business are quality. So the most difficult part is really to go from 0 to 50 and keep that 50 people together for a period of time. I think if you nail that stage, which for us is going to be basically this year, then 50 to 100 is relatively easy, and 100 to 200 is even easier because you have all the management in play, the system already there. So that's kind of
So what's the biggest challenge? I mean, you've been through this before, right? What do you see as the hardest bit or the challenges around maintaining that 50? What's going to go wrong? What could go wrong?
Well, we're hot, so we are the place to be right now. So everybody is got eye on us, So my guys get constantly headhunted, That's a thing. But there's nothing, for us, we're very fair. I think very fair. I think on how we run the business. So there's no threat. I think from outside in particular. I think maybe the only tricky part, I think that you are when you are at a company like my stage, I think is the middle management layer. So if you don't have that middle management layer, you can't really hire more people, because they can't take them. So it's really now we have a really good senior management layer. I have I think 5 or 6 senior managers / directors, and I only have now 2 managers. So of course, again, the directors and the senior manager have direct reports, but they can take, they can't take 3, 5 new grads. We only hire 1 new grad per team per quarter.
Right.
So of course, so one manager cannot take more than one head count, basically. So after you have 5, 6 direct report, that's it. Then you can't really hire for that team an AC. So then you have to go for an experience hire, or you have to wait for that team to mature, and to get maybe a senior con that becomes manager, and then I can give him more account. But of course, you have to go a little bit slower with new managers because they can't take, 1 AC per quarter, So I think the tricky part is just that middle management, I think.
Have you found any? Do you use any external trainers for that? Are you doing it all yourselves? What's the plan?
Everything in house. So we design all the training in house, and Matt and I wrote all the materials. So we design everything. We can't try to do as much as we can in house, and we want to promote as many people as we can in house. So our philosophy is always even if someone is not really ready, and I really think that nobody's ever really ready for their first managerial job, we give them a shot, and so we fast track a little bit their career, I guess. So our idea, if we can homegrown, maybe within this year, another 3 to 5, maybe senior con into management, and if we can hire strategically from outside another couple, then we can sustain the growth, and then we can hit those 80, and then next year we can do 120, 130, and so on.
So at that level of growth, though, profit's going to take a hit, right? You've got to be expecting profit will be relatively low, but it will level out later when you hit a certain point.
Yeah, you kind of go through what I observe and what we observe. You kind of go like a little bit down, and then you have a massive spike, and then you go down a bit, and then you have a massive spike. That's kind of how the curve goes.
Yeah.
Again, to do what we do, you need to have some stomach for it, because you're betting on again on you're forecasting something you don't have, and you're betting on your people to perform, and you're betting on your people to grow. You're betting on the economy to stay the same. You're betting there are a few variables, but I think within those variables, I think if you have that confidence, and again, for us, we've done it before, so it's not, we've done it before, so it's not the first time. So this time we are not making a lot of mistakes that we made last time, so I think we're much slicker, I think, in everything, so, and you can feel it. I think I feel way less stress this time. I feel like way more stress last time than this time. I just feel like it's easy. I mean, I'm not easy. It's not easy. Of course, you always have pressure because you're growing at this speed, but I feel way more comfortable, in what
you're doing. So what's your advice then? So someone who wants to follow your footsteps and lead a fast growing recruitment company, give us a couple of bits of advice you would say to those people.
I think I don't know. I think it's just you really need to want it badly because you're only gonna see the reward really like 5 years later, 10 years later. It's much easier to run a small boutique. I think so. You need to have it in you, really. Yeah, it has to be. You have to be 100% sure that you want to do it. I think you need money, 100%. So you need to get investment, from somebody. You can't do it with your own money. It is actually not, it doesn't make sense to do it with your money because you're just going to lose money, honestly, I think. So, you need to get an investor. Just be prepared, it's not easy, I think.
You said maybe go and manage a business for someone else first. Go and learn on someone else's cash, perhaps. Like build like you did.
Yeah, I think there are like some. I was watching the podcast you did, like I think a month ago, 2 months ago. I don't remember his name, but it's the guy that started the business from his bedroom, and now he has 200 people or something like that, and he did it literally by himself. Mark. I think that is a really unique story. I think to do what it did without real investment is really difficult. I think especially now. You need to find a good market as well. I think the market play like a decent part. We couldn't do this in UK. There's just not the space. Here there is a space we think for another big player. But again, before we did it, nobody believed in that. So everybody thought that it was already done. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's really, you have to feel it. For us, it worked really well because we had the trading ground really in myself, Hayes, Robert Waters. Matt comes from Robert Waters, and we really spend a lot of time working for big businesses and learning a little bit the craft, And also, again, we are UK recruiters, playing in Japan, which is it's easier, So we have that advantage. We're competing against.
Well, I've noticed. I mean, globally, the industry is dominated by Brits that are running Australian businesses, US businesses, Japanese, Hong Kong, like. The British training school, if you like, has then gone and sprouted all over the world, which is insane.
Yeah, I think here, like kind of our competitors are really ex-English teachers, that grew and developed. So all the directors, MDs in the majority of the companies are ex-English teachers that, they learn their craft in Japan. And it just like, we start our career in UK, you're competing at different levels, so we're always going to have that, I think, competitive advantage of starting your career in a more developed market, I think. And but I don't know, it's not easy to do. I think it's probably the rarest case, I think, where somebody wants to set up their own company and scale it, I think. And you do it for your ego. I think that's really the reason why you do it.
I was going to say that. What is in it for you long term? Like, is it pure ego? Have you got something you want to buy and you're trying to grow something? What's the
No, the money is there, of course. If you sell a 200 people business in Tokyo, that's you're pretty much done, I think. So there is that financial freedom aspect of it, and making like really, really a significant amount of money that is there, and there is your ego. For me and Matt, we always, we think we are the best, and we want to demonstrate again that we are. So that is, I think, is really that and the money. I think they are the two most and of course, you have all the nice things. You're building a company, and helping other people to achieve their dreams and all that
Do you
kind
have
of stuff.
do you have like a deadline for that 200 person? Do you know when you want to be?
Yeah, I think to do like something to grow a company, that's how you have to do it fast. Otherwise, you lose momentum. I think that's really what I think. You lose momentum with your team, but also yourself. You get, if you don't hit those threshold, then you do lose interest in the business, I think. So if you do it, you got to do it fast, I think. So for us, it would be a 5-year plan. So at 3 to 5 years, I think from now, basically, that's where
From
we
now.
want to hit that target.
So,
Yeah.
so if you make it there, you sell out, you move on. Would you want to move on and do? I'm sure you'd do it again. Like I can't imagine you. What else are you gonna do? You're not gonna sit and play
Yeah.
golf. Right?
No. I think what we would love to do is, I mean, we already have like some ideas, on doing maybe something overseas, eventually. So we are thinking about it, but it's just like way too early for us. You need to hit that 100 people threshold, I think,
Yeah.
to maybe start to think about doing something overseas. For our group companies, they don't have anything in Europe. So I would love to at some point be back in Europe, and maybe I fancy to you go back, not to UK. I think there's no point of opening a business in UK right now, but I don't know, something in Europe like Switzerland or even Italy, maybe. So I don't know.
Wow, exciting.
Mhm.
Alex, I really appreciate your time, mate. I love the story. I love the energy. I think people will learn a lot from this chat. They'll be inspired. Some people will disagree, and they, like we've had on the
Sure.
comments, people saying,
I'm
they
used to
don't
that.
want to.
Don't worry.
People will say, I don't want to. I wouldn't want to do that. And that's what you said before is great. Not everyone. We're not a destination employer for everyone. You're polarizing your audience. You want people to love you.
Yeah.
You want people to hate you. That's absolutely fine, as long as you get what you need, which is grow the business where you want it to be. If people are listening and they'd like to know more, in fact, last question before we go, why would, because you mentioned this in our pre-chat, that you can pay, or you can arrange for recruiters to come to Japan, like,
Yep.
honestly, like, so
we
wherever
really we want, actually, honestly, in particular, British recruiters to come to Japan and join our business. That's really a thing that we want.
Yeah. So if someone reaches out to you and they're like, look, I love this sound of the episode, I love the sound of your business, what's a realistic time frame from accepting a job to getting out there and working? Like, how long would that take for someone to?
So it depends on, now that with the COVID, it's a bit more a little bit more complicated to get a visa. So realistically, if someone send me a CV right now, and we do the interview very quickly, so in a month we get it done. So realistically, if everything comes back a little bit to normality with the immigration system in Japan, probably by July, I think it could be possible.
Right.
Yeah, that would
So
be
you're
the
looking at
time
about a
frame.
6-month time frame at the moment.
It would be faster, with the guy we hired in, I think he joined in January, from Canada. We got this visa done in like 2 months, I think.
Right. But you arrange all of that. The people just need to be prepared to come, right?
Yeah, we do the visa, and everything. We can hook people up with like a real estate agent in Japan. We have connections here.
Is Tokyo, is rental accommodation expensive in Tokyo? I imagine it's
cheaper than London. It's cheaper
Really?
than London. So I don't know. Tokyo, I don't think it's that expensive. I felt London was more expensive for me.
London's ridiculous.
I mean, I was making less money at the time as well, so in comparison is a thing. But I think Tokyo is cheaper. Even the food, I think, is cheap. If again you don't go for anything like particularly glamorous, and for instance, in London, everybody does house sharing. Here, everybody's got their own apartment.
Really?
Nobody's sharing house. No.
That says a lot about it, doesn't it? That says a lot about it. Alex, you're making me want to quit my company and join. Never mind people that
Come here.
Yeah, I'll show you my track record. You'll snap me. But look, mate, thank you so much. I've loved every second of the chat. If anyone wants to reach out to you, is LinkedIn okay? That's the best place to send you.
Yeah, LinkedIn is the best one. Send me a message. I'm very quick to reply.
All right, you're an absolute legend. We're definitely going to interview you again. I'm thinking
when we get to 100.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like an annual check-in. Well, I want to know where you are in a year's time, and I'm thinking you might have bald head in a year's time and stress.
Never. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
Too good.
I'll do a hair transplant. I'll do a hair transplant.
You're a legend. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for the comment section. There's a couple of people who've messaged. Lawrence Davis said an 11 out of 10 pod today. Mate, I appreciate your kind words. Anyone listening back on Apple and Spotify, thank you. Please do get into, if you can give us a rating on Apple and leave a comment, it does allow us to reach more people. So we want to get that out there more this year. But we'll be back again next week with another episode. In the meantime, you stay safe and I will see you soon. Thank you, as always, for listening to today's show. I truly, truly hope that you got value from it. That's the only reason I take time every week, is to ensure that my audience, future and existing recruitment owners, are learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. Today's episode was brought to you by Hoxo Media. I am the CEO and founder of Hoxo Media, and we are the world's leading content marketing and personal branding agency for recruitment businesses specifically. So we are working with over 200 agencies and 2,000 recruiters right now, both managing the brands, producing content, building written, video, podcast content for niche recruitment agencies all over the world, as well as coaching at a desk level individual recruiters in your businesses how to be better on LinkedIn. That's how to brand themselves. That's how to produce content. That's how to use the opportunity on LinkedIn to get traffic to their profiles and turn that into business. We're coaching people all over the world every single day. If any of that sounds of interest, please do visit www.hoxomedia.com or drop me, Sean Anderson, a personal message on LinkedIn. I would love to talk to you. Tune in again next week. That's live on LinkedIn, or you can catch the show on the following Monday from 6 a.m. on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'll see you soon.